Blind date on Christmas Eve. The poor single dad showed up late, but the billionaire said, "I'll wait." The snow had begun its quiet work an hour before dusk, softening the city into something almost forgiving. Christmas Eve lights blinked awake along the avenue, golden red and hopeful. Inside the cafe, warm, narrow, and perpetually smelling of cinnamon, Mara Klein checked her watch for the third time in 5 minutes. 6:45. She'd arrived early, as she always did. Old habit. Control the variables. Be polite. Be on time. She wore a simple wool coat instead of the tailored one her assistant preferred, and she'd left the driver at home. Tonight wasn't about headlines or mergers or the gentle tyranny of expectations. It was a blind date. A favor to her cousin, who swore this man was good, in the way that mattered. The barista glanced over with recognition and tried not to stare. Mara smiled anyway and lifted her cup in thanks. Around her, couples huddled, scarves tangled, hands linked. Somewhere a child laughed. Somewhere else, a bell rang. 6:50. Her phone buzzed. "I'm so sorry. Running late. Please don't leave." Mara read the message twice. No name attached. Just the number her cousin had given her. She typed back before she could overthink it. "I'm here. Take your time." 7 o'clock came and went. The cafe filled. A gust of cold air swept in with every door opening, each time raising a flicker of hope that died as quickly as it came. Mara felt the familiar pressure. Time is currency, time is weapon. She could leave. She could say she tried. But something, perhaps the snow, or the message's earnest apology, kept her still. "I'll wait," she told no one in particular, and folded her hands around her mug. Ethan Reed skidded into the bus stop, breath burning, heart thudding. He wiped snow from his eyelashes and glanced back down the street, where the bus had already vanished, red lights swallowed by white. "Of course," he muttered. Earlier, Lily's fever had spiked. He'd waited at the clinic longer than promised, watching his daughter sleep against his chest while the nurse scribbled instructions. The babysitter had texted, "Traffic, snow, delay." Everything delayed. He'd almost cancelled, almost sent a message he couldn't afford to send, "I can't do this." But Lily, pink-cheeked and brave, had tugged his collar. "You should go, Daddy," she'd said, serious as a judge. "You never go." So he'd gone, late, coat too thin, hands raw, rehearsing apologies in his head. The cafe door resisted, as if testing him, then gave way. Warmth wrapped around him, bringing with it the smell of cinnamon and coffee and something else, hope, maybe. He scanned the room, heart sinking as he saw the packed tables. Then he saw her. She sat alone near the window, snow lighting her hair, posture calm, eyes attentive. Not checking her phone, not sighing, just waiting. Ethan swallowed and crossed the room. "Mara," his voice came out rough. She looked up and smiled, not the polite kind, but the kind that reaches the eyes. "Ethan, he gestured helplessly to the clock. "I'm so sorry. My daughter." "Sit," she said, standing to pull out the chair. "Tell me when you're ready." Relief nearly buckled his knees. They talked in the way strangers sometimes do when the world narrows just enough to feel safe. Ethan spoke of Lily, her love of library cards and pancakes shaped like stars. Of juggling shifts, of learning to braid hair from a YouTube video. He laughed at himself easily, but there was an ache beneath it, a carefulness. Mara listened. She didn't interrupt. When he asked what she did, she said simply, "I run a company." "Oh," he said, embarrassed, glancing at his worn boots. "It mostly means meetings," she added lightly. "And forgetting why you started." They shared pie. Outside, the snow thickened, the city hushed. At one point, Ethan shook his head. "I don't know why I agreed to this. I don't have much to offer." Mara tilted her head. "You showed up. Late, yes, but you came anyway." He met her gaze, surprised. "People with nothing to prove," she continued, "are rare." The cafe lights dimmed. The barista announced closing. Coats were gathered. Promises were made. Outside, the snow fell clean and quiet. "I don't want to presume," Ethan said, hands in his pockets. "But could I see you again? When I'm less late?" Mara laughed, a sound that cut through the cold. "I don't mind waiting," she said. "Especially for the right reasons." He smiled then, wide and unguarded. As they walked in opposite directions, Mara felt something unfamiliar and precious settle in her chest. Not certainty, not control, but possibility. And on Christmas Eve, beneath falling snow, that was more than enough.